What's up, queens? Welcome to Black Queens Uncut. Grab your wine, your vape, or whatever you need to relax because we're about to get into this queen chat. And I'm super excited about this one today because we have on the talented Brewer, who is an actress, comedian, an actor, comedian. I know, you're not a woman.
Actress. Excuse me.
I know. An actor, comedian, singer, songwriter. You got it all going on. What else you do?
Oh man, I do whatever the job is, whatever's needed. That's what I do.
Right. Did you just get done with the season of Bruh? Isn't it on now?
Yeah, well, the first season is still going because it's 24 episodes of the first season, but I did film the second season, which will probably come out next year. So
I saw you filming.
Yeah, that was how long ago was that? Maybe a month ago. Recently, I was filming the Jack and Jill thing I was just telling you about.
Yes, which which at the end of this episode, you'll let everybody know where they can find you so they can see all the good stuff that you do.
Yes, and thank you all for having me on.
Yes.
Peter Boom Boom, that's what she said. What'd you say your name was? Boom Boom?
It's Nakia, but they call me Kiki Boom Boom.
Kiki Boom Boom. I like that. Kiki Boom Boom. Okay.
Kiki Boom Boom. Yes.
That is an intriguing name. Okay.
It's crazy. It's been my name. I changed that on Facebook I feel like 15 years ago, and people have been calling me that since. So
facts.
Yeah.
Kiki Boom Boom.
Kiki Boom Boom. I like it.
Thank you.
It's super catchy. So today we're going to be talking about Black love. It is our men's edition this month, and I'm excited to have you on.
Thanks for having me, Monique.
Yes. So, ladies, we're going to start out with the ladies, and you'll probably have a comeback because I know you'll have a comeback for this one. Ladies, what has been your experience dating Black men? We kind of touched on it a little bit, but what has been your experience dating?
Oh, Lord.
Listen, I love Black men. I love us. I want to marry Black. I want to date Black. And I've dated outside my race as well, but I prefer Black men. It's been very interesting. And I think, we touched on this on one of our episodes where we talked about communication. And I think right now I'm seeing this war between Black men and Black women, and not everyone, because I do see, and thank God there's shows like Black Love. And I do see amazing couples out there who have kind of been the blueprint, and I've seen it in my family, but it's been interesting. I don't want to say it's been interesting because it's Black men that I've dated. I just think it's interesting because it's men. I don't think it's anything to really do with Black men. I just think it's a man thing. No shade, Barry, to your gender.
No shade taken.
I just think your gender, y'all just got to get it together. It's not a Black or white thing. It's just men in general.
Like when you say get it together, what you mean?
Men are very interesting. Some men, not all men. Some of y'all just very interesting people, but I do, out of my dating experience, I love Black men. I know that's where I want to be. And I've dated white guys, Hispanic guys, Asian guys. I've dated every race, but Black men, that's where I want to be.
So
I want to.
Do you really? Because I feel
I do. Don't get me wrong.
Really?
Has it been tough? Yes, it's been tough. But I love Black men. I want to share those experiences. I don't want to explain shit to nobody. I want someone to be able to understand what I'm going through. And I've had I've had the best experiences with Black men. And yes, it's been tough. Just dating in general. I want that. I don't know if I'm going to get that. You know what I'm saying? But that's something that
you are going to get it. You gotta believe
that part.
No, I know I'm gonna get a man. I don't know if he's gonna be Black though. But
yeah, you gotta believe he's gonna be Black.
Because I be talking to God. I'll be like, God, I love everybody. My heart for everybody. But I'll take whatever you send me. But if you could send me a Black man who loves me, that'd be great.
Right.
That's the thing, in my opinion. It's not about there is a cultural thing that happens with each culture, and there's an essence of that culture that you can see commonly in that culture. I think Black people are aggressive naturally. I just think that, and I told a woman, I said, Black women aggressive. She's like, what? No. I was like, let me stop. I said, Black people, period, are aggressive. So let's be clear. So you're part of that, you know what I mean? And Black men as well. I think that we were just talking about, it's funny, this conversation that you bring up, Moni, because I was just having this conversation and why I think it's difficult for Black women and men to build together. And I think it has a lot to do with the way the world has turned. I was like, there's way more Black educated women than there are Black men. And I think that when it comes into a relationship and a woman is so much further in her career and things like that, there's a respect that's lacking sometimes in that dynamic. And a man needs respect. You know what I mean? I think, especially a Black man, let me just say that it's more important for a Black man. I can see a white dude, he can get smacked in the face and not be embarrassed. You know what I mean? The white person doesn't care about being embarrassed, but a Black man has too much pride. Like, you're not going to hit me. And I've seen this with my own eyes in public. White dude's like, so what? And the dude like, I smacked you. Like, so? Like, he didn't care. Like, it didn't matter. He doesn't care about certain things that the white man doesn't care about certain things that Black men care about. You can know, like, even when you watch these dominatrix sexual things, like how white men like to be punished and things. No Black dude, you ain't finna do nothing. Nope. You ain't finna what? No,
they like to be spanked.
Like, yeah, that's weird. But it has a lot to do with slavery. It has a lot to do with they've always been in power. They never had to, never had to work for respect. They never had to go over and beyond to be respected and to be in position of power. So power for them is second nature. You know, for the Black man, it's not. He had to earn his stripes everywhere, from in his home, from being a man of the house, probably at home growing up with no father in the house, to then trying to prove himself in the world. And then you get in a relationship with this Black woman who's probably a little further along in life than you. And she's been independent and she's taught the movement, like, I know nobody tell me. Not everybody, I'm joking. So not every Black woman's like that. But most independent Black women are used to just calling their own shots. I have an auntie who was unmarried for a long time. And my auntie was a beautiful woman, very successful, but it was hard for her to keep a man. And I think it had a lot to do with her moving out the driver's seat, as I would like to say. Because she's been driving for so long that now when a man comes along and wants to drive, she's like, no, I'm used to doing it like this. This is how I want to do it.
But
and sometimes that can be a challenge.
I have a question for that. But doesn't that mean that if you really like this person, have we come to a point where everything in love is just so instant that you just be like, no, I'm gonna move on, instead of taking the time to be like, hey, and have that communication with her, like, hey, I think you've been independent for so long, let me do something, let me have your back to gain that trust? Because we as Black women I'll speak for myself, we also deal with a lot of trust issues. Like, oh, well, if I can't depend on anybody, I'm going to have to just depend on myself. And instead of always asking or having to do it, I'm going to just go ahead and do it because it's going to get done. And when does that, especially when it comes to Black love, when is it that time to be like?
I think that's a great question. That's a great question. But this is the issue. I shouldn't have to work for your trust. That's the thing. I shouldn't come in with no trust already. Like, let me just say this. And this is both ways. This is not about man and woman. This is relationship. If your best friend, your homegirl, let's take it out of men and women. Your last best friend stole from you. So now you have some insecurities about people stealing from you. Now you got a new best friend. So now you're expecting her, who did nothing to you, as you're not giving her a clean slate. Now she got to come in with the negative things of the friend before to now work and gain your trust of something she never did. That's not fair to the person coming in. You got to wipe the slate clean. Now, are you taking a chance of being hurt or stole from again? Always, for sure. But when I have to work to gain trust, when I never done nothing to be untrustworthy, now we're starting negative. We're starting in the negative to begin with. So I don't even have any room for a mistake, right? Because if I mess up or make a mistake, like, oh, y'all, yep, because the last, okay, that's just another, now whoever coming in after me, oh, they 2 times in the negative. You get what I'm saying? So now everything's further back. So now you're so bitter and disdained about how maybe this man or men are, because you never wipe the slate clean, understanding this individual is its own person and they deserve a clean slate. I trust you until you give me a reason not to. And I don't use my experiences for you personally, because if I meet Monique and Monique come into my life, whoever was there before, you are not responsible for the things they did or didn't do. And that's not fair. And so when you say earn my trust, I think that's already starting off on the wrong foot, in my opinion.
Mm.
I like how you ended it. In my opinion.
In my opinion.
Because I'm learning how to talk, because also communication is about when you're listening to me, and this is another thing in relationships, when you're hearing what I say, and this is something I recently learned, when you're hearing what I say, you're not sometimes listening to what it is for what it is, your experiences, your life, how you grew up, what your own feelings about it is. That's what you're hearing me with. So you're filtering it through all those. I got to go through all of it. And you're not just taking what I'm saying at face value.
Right.
And I think most people don't hear information like, why could that be true? They don't consider it that way. They consider it like, well, I feel this way. So when you're talking to me and it doesn't agree with what I feel, then I don't hear you with an open heart and an open mind. I hear you with through the filter of what I already see it as. So it's hard to now gain new information or to see a broader perspective because I don't already feel that way. So what you're saying is I'm just allowing you to talk. It's not really penetrating. You get what I'm saying?
Right. Do you feel like, and this goes, I feel like we kind of had this in the last conversation too, but do you feel like as Black women, we do like all the head rolling and the finger is
No,
why
I
we
don't.
did?
No, that's more
Why?
ghetto, more hood chicks do that for sure. But the average Black woman, no.
For love, do you feel like that? But do we get deemed like we're the most aggressive in
Right.
the out of all the other races?
But we are, but you are of women. Forget women. Black people are the most aggressive culture of every other culture. Think about it.
We are, but I think you know what it is when it comes to Black women. I do think we are, but it's like Black women, we get punished for it because though we, as a Black culture, we are, but no one says, "Oh, I can't stand Black men because he's loud or he does this." It's like Black women are gold diggers, Black women are loud, Black women got attitudes, but it's accepted within other races. Like I'll see Black men say, like, "Ooh, I love a Latina woman because she a little crazy," and it's like, but damn, I
But
say
he,
something
but
and
he, but you
I'm
mostly
crazy.
hear that with a, but you hear that with a Black man who probably had much less experiences with a Latina than he has with a Black woman. So most of those men that's saying that is speaking ignorantly. You
Yeah.
get what I'm saying? So you can't really use that as information. Like they're speaking ignorantly. Like, oh, every white woman is like submissive. Like that's just not
But a
true,
lot of
right?
Black men do, not all, because we just had this last conversation. I love Black men, but there are a lot of Black men who do come across that way where they're like, Black women, I don't, the ones who don't date us, they'll start with, I don't like Black women because, but
But
they'll accept it from these other races. And it's like,
Yeah,
but damn.
can I
yeah.
ask you this? Can I ask you this
Yeah.
question? Do you think that Black women are the most aggressive women of all the cultures?
No, I just think women in
No.
general are fiery women, not Black
Okay.
women.
Well, tell me another culture that you think is more. I won't say aggressive because I think
I would
aggressive
say
has a
aggressive.
kind of a negative connotation, and when you hear me say aggressive, you're like,
Yeah.
I'm not aggressive, right? I ain't aggressive. Like that is aggressive,
I
actually.
think all races, because I have a lot of friends who come from different backgrounds, and I've been to their houses and I've heard their parents, I've heard their mothers, and I've had white friends who are either Italian or Irish, and their parents go in. One of my best friends is Hispanic, and her mother didn't play no games. I used to be afraid of her mother. So I think it's all races, but again, I'm Black, so I have the Black experience.
Right.
But I think when people put it on just Black women, I'm like, no, just women in general. We're
Right.
fiery. We don't
No,
play any games.
I
But
think people, yeah.
it's like we get Black women get demonized for doing the shit that all women do.
Right.
Especially in love. Yeah,
But
when it
It's
but
like
comes
when you
Black
say
women get.
demonize, are you talking about Black men because
I'm
their
talking
main
about
experience is
Black men
Black women?
who don't fuck with us because that's what will come out their mouths. And I'm not
Well,
talking
can
about
I
all
say
Black
this?
men.
Can I say this as a
Yeah,
Black man who F with you?
yeah,
Super. Like all I've never dated outside my race, only had Black women. Let me
yeah,
say this. In my experience in communication, I've had a Black mom, I've had aunties, I've had grandmothers, I have cousins. Outside of relationship, Black women are more assertive, more I ain't playing with it, da 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 da, because of our culture. So it's not a negative thing. But as a Black man, I've encountered more like aggression from, now I can't speak for other races, so I'm just saying in my perspective, I see that. Like if a man's like, yeah, bro, I don't really mess with that culture. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But I understand. But to me, also it's a struggle strong black man to be with a strong black woman. Like when I Michelle Obama, she don't look like a pushover to me.
Yeah, but I think
right?
you're using the wrong word. I don't think it's aggressive. I think when you said assertive, that's the right word. And the reason why I think you're saying that, more black women are, more assertive than other races is that because we're at the forefront. If you just take out, the relationship, and you take about, you just put social causes, a lot of the social causes, the majority of the social causes were started by black women. And then, white women came and put their, mark on it. And then the media ran away with that. But we're on the forefront of a lot of things, and it's because we're assertive, because it's like you might try to strip our rights, but we're gonna fight for it until our dying breath.
I agree. So let's define
I think
aggressive.
that's the word. When people say aggressive, especially
What does
I get
aggressive mean
irritated
though,
when I hear
TK?
that.
But
Pardon me?
TK, that's what remember what I was saying earlier. What's aggressive? Let's define it then. Let's define it. What's aggressive to you? Because that's the question. That's important. When somebody uses a word, sometimes it has a negative connotation, but I'm using the word for what it is, the definition. Like, what's the definition of the word? And are you the definition of the word? Just because it has a negative connotation on it, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I think it's like growing up, like
let's
white
define
people.
the word. Let's
Yeah.
define the word and see if those traits of that word or the definition of that word I use assertive because assertive to me can be
So I
taken as
Googled it.
aggressive because the opposite of aggressive is passive.
I Googled it because I'll be looking up stuff. So according to the dictionary, it's ready or likely to attack or confront, characterized
That's
by
it.
or
That's
resulting
it.
from aggression.
And you just said when somebody say likely to confront. That's what aggressive is. And you
I
just
feel
said black
like,
women are likely to confront an issue.
But I think because like white
to
people
take
have
charge.
used it in a negative way
yes,
towards us. Because I remember like I would say, "Oh, I'm an aggressive woman," and I wouldn't think of it as a bad thing. And me being
It's
aggressive
not.
means I went after what I wanted. But I remember being at work or at school, they'd be like, "Nikia, you're aggressive. You're too
Assertive.
assertive," and it's like, what
Assertive.
the fuck?
because I feel like Latina women can be very aggressive.
I feel like women.
100%.
I feel like women in general are aggressive. I just think that's who we are as women. We're fiery. We're passionate. We don't play any games. But I do think black women, we're demonized. And it's like, as soon as I say something at work, white people are like, you're aggressive. Whereas another woman might say exactly what I said, the way they said it, and they're not looked at it. So I think as black people, we hear the word aggressive and we're like, damn, it's a bad thing because that's all we've been told.
Right.
But it's not. But I'm a black man who's very aggressive. You get what I'm saying?
And
And I
feel
hear it all the
you
time.
guys aren't told, like people don't like
I'm a
dating
black.
wise.
No.
Yeah, dating
I'm a black
wise.
man. Hold on. Let me say something. Because this is an issue. There's way more black men in jail and died because of their aggressiveness. Black women may be accused of being aggressive, but they're not. You don't see as many of them because of their nature that they lose their lives and then they're put behind bars because of their nature. Our nature as African Americans are aggressive or assertive or whatever. We're not passive. We're the opposite.
I'm not taking away the plight from black men.
Right.
But no. I say that to say, I'm saying that to say a point though. I'm saying that to say, I agree with you that people have made it a negative thing. But if I tell you being assertive is negative, that doesn't make it negative because they say so. Like people have said plus size women is like they made like plus size is ugly. And I was telling my daughter who's plus size, I'm like, don't think fat is ugly because it's not. It ain't nothing wrong with being big and beautiful. You get what I'm saying?
Period.
But society has made having more weight on you be an ugly thing. And so I agree that society has made it that way. So when I say it, or when I don't think that it's negative, I don't think that a strong black woman or aggressive black, I want somebody who's going to be assertive with me. I think it takes a strong black man or a strong man in general to handle another strong woman, black woman, right? And I think that may be the issue. I also think that when you have a strong black woman or assertive, we'll use assertive for TK because I don't want to make TK feel weird, feel a certain way and go in on me. But when you have assertive, it's also about being mature and knowing when to be assertive or not. Me being a man, I'm learning that in my relationship. I'm aggressive like sometimes, but I'm learning when to let her lead. Oh, you need to drive today. Oh, okay. Like that's just good leadership. That's learning when to and that comes with maturity too. You know what I mean? Because some of the things that we're saying that's been happening with men or people saying stuff, this is people's experiences, and sometimes they're not mature to see it broader than just their moment. You get what I'm saying? So
Right.
I don't want us to take all of what they saying like this, what they saying like. Why we? I hate when people say, "Well, society." Most of society is immature. Like, why are you using that as a reference? Like,
And that's the issue with most society being in. This is how I feel with most society being immature and not having the amount of black men ratio to black women because of so many other things. I do feel like it's hard for us to find love and marriage as black women because we are deemed that aggressive, angry, got so many issues type situation. Like 42, I don't know if this statistic is still right. It's probably either the same or still or larger now, but 42% of black women never get married. And we never really see that for other cultures.
Can I ask you this though? Do you think that some of that is you should have seen yourself, you just rolled your eyes. But
my mom used to say that I didn't catch it. I never catch it. She'd be like, you just roll your eyes at me. I'd be like, no, I didn't catch that. But
Monique, I agree 100% with you that part of it is because of the ratio. Part of it is because that. Do you think that any percentage of that is because of the black woman at all?
no, I just feel like it's what Kiki said. I feel like we are.
You said none of it.
No. I can't say none of it.
We can't have a conversation no more.
You're right. No. I will say this. I will say, yes, it can be on our part, but there are some things that I feel like, yes, as black women, we can fix, but we are demonized a lot for what other women do as well. Other culture women do as well. So when we're demonized for it, but they're not, it's kind of like y'all are both the same. And this is just one of the examples. Y'all are both the same crazy, but because we don't demonize it for white women or even Latino women and we celebrate it, but we don't celebrate it for black women. Yeah, we're equally the same crazy, but at the same time, you don't want to be with this black woman because the society has made that bad, but have celebrated for Latino women or white women, like, oh, her crazy is just funny, or I love me a crazy, like she said, I love me a crazy Latina. It's like, but you don't love you a crazy black girl, like, you know what I'm saying? It's just, I feel like, yes, we can all change, but when it comes to love, it's very hard for black women to get that love, especially black love, with so much against them, and then on top of that, demonizing the traits that you see in all women.
I'm
all
I'm
women
not
matter.
a big fan.
I said all women matter.
Yeah, all women. I don't get caught up, me personally, into what people are saying. Me personally, I don't like to have those conversations because I can care less about what people say. Right? Like, oh, they demonizing us, like it. And please forgive me if I sound inconsiderate. I'm like, so what are you doing? What am I doing as an individual to give myself the best chance to be married? What am I doing as an individual to give myself the best opportunity to get to where I'm going? Because if I get caught up in this, like how is that helping me? How is that helping me find love? How is that helping me get to my dreams and the desires I have? My beautiful black man over there with Kiki Boom Boom. You know what I'm saying? Like that what can I do individually? Because I can get caught up into what they're saying about black women, or I can be more specific to myself and say, what can I do? What can Monique do individually to be the woman she wants to be, to have all the things she wants? Yes, that's predicated on the man, but am I making myself, am I too snappy? Am I too passive? Am I like, what kind of wife? I want to be a wife. Like, women do this too. And I ain't putting everybody in the boat, because men do this too. And I don't agree with this. If we're dating at 30 plus, if you're dating, you got to marry me for that. Like, what are we doing? You should be only dating to be married. And I want to see the represent. It's like the car. It's like you going to test drive a car. The car's like, yeah, I'll start up for real when you buy me. What? Like, I need to know all that you have right here. And so don't Don't give your time and attention to no man that you don't think that is not already husband material. I've
Word.
heard women say, until you marry me, that's when I'll do X, Y, and Z. And to me, that makes no sense. Now, I understand it given the experiences you have, but now you got to be very selective. Again, that's why I
Yeah.
always talk about wiping that slate clean. I got to be selective to who I'm going to give all my time to and energy to, understanding I'm always taking a chance of being hurt. In order to really fall in love and to be happily uh, ever after a story, you're going to have to take the chance of being hurt. And that's just comes with the territory. If you want to be happily married and love, like, what are you doing every day to look in the mirror? Like, some people don't even care. Women and men walk out of relationships all day long and they never look at what they could have done better. I've
Right.
been married twice, and I looked at my first marriage. One thing I can say about her, she was very sweet. She was a sweetheart. She really was, right? I wasn't mature. I wasn't. And I wasn't much. I got married when I was 21. She was 5 years older than me. She had twins. I've raised them since my own. Like, I understood certain things because I had gone by. I can sit back now. I said, and some you said earlier, Monique, I agree. Most people so quick to run away from a relationship and not put the work in and understand that relationships comes with turmoil. It comes with, there's gonna be some moments you're ready to walk away, but it's that immaturity that's just you ready to give up at the end of the day. So I'm saying all this to say, let's not get caught up. If you really want to find true love and you really want to be happy, you really want to get to this world, stop getting caught up in what they say. Okay, maybe they do say that, but is that true to you? No, let's be a difference. All black men, this all. I ain't that black man. You know, and you could say whatever. Like, I think I'm assertive. I think I'm aggressive. I think I'm a black man, but I'm mature. And I understand that all of that comes with time. There's sometimes you need to be aggressive as a black woman, right? You could say, yes, I'm aggressive when I need to be. Sure, I sure am. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm mature enough to understand this about balance. Every time it ain't for me to be passive, but I know when to be passive. I know when to let da da da. Like, that's what we work on. It's okay. Let them demonize it, but it's not a bad thing. That's one of your powers. You know what I'm saying? As a black woman, that's why y'all so successful, because of your aggressive nature to go after what you want for yourself. That's why you see the black women leading. So don't let them put that be negative. You make that a positive thing. Like, yeah, I'm the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. That's why I'm this, because of that nature. You get what I'm saying? Let them, like, for a long time they've done this to black people and say, oh, y'all this, y'all that. Man, we some of the greatest beings on the planet. Look at what we've been able to do as a culture. So the division is where the enemy creeps in. And when you see a black man and woman together, it's special. It builds something special for sure. So, and I'm a spiritual guy, and I believe that there's a good entity and a bad entity. And so if that really builds something good, then that negative entity has to do something to bring division between that. And that's all that is. And so most black men, come on, y'all got to think about the Willie Lynch letter. You got to think about slavery and how they pulled the black man away from the family. Look at the inner city. Look at when we were before segregation, when the communities had families. We had better leadership. You didn't see as many kids, gangs, and all of these things because there was a community and a culture that was developed. They pulled the black man away. So the woman, and they tried to embarrass him back if you believe in the Willie Lynch letter, which I totally believe because the evidence is right here today. I'm trying to show you like how all of that has brought a division between us as genders, black woman, black man, right? The black man don't have nothing. The black man is still trying to earn his respect because from history. The black woman is like, what's wrong with you? Right? I need my respect, but you ain't got to go out there and work. Right. It's some issues that's transpired in our culture and our history that's brought us to this place. And we're so ignorant to it that we sitting here fighting each other, thinking, look, well, you think I'm the super aggressive. Well, you don't respect me. And it's like we don't even see what the real issues is for us to cohabitate and really build.
Right.
So,
And I also think there's if we do get to, or when we do get together, we're powerful, just like you were saying, and people want to keep that. They don't want us to get together. Like the study that you were saying, where, you know, the 44% of black women are not getting married, then like where are the black men as far as that percentage? You know, you have a huge population that's in jail, and that because of all the things that's happened. So like we have to look at both sides with that. And what the narrative that they're giving us and the narrative that sometimes we read into, myself as well, is just like, oh well, you know, they're against us and they're doing this and they're doing that. But then it's like, well, who's putting this narrative in our head? And then at the end of the day, we all we need is that one person to build that unit, and then other people are going to look at our relationship and then want to do that as well and then multiply it. So I think it's just like, you know, taking out what media is telling us and, you know, all the stereotypes and actually going for what we've had before and having that understanding. So I definitely agree with you. It's just one of those things where sometimes when you're inundated with the fact that you're seeing so many single Black women, but you know, we're in LA, but you know, there are relationships, and there are plenty of relationships that I've seen. They've been married for years, and it's a healthy relationship for what I could see. You know, I don't know what's happening in their house, but it's a healthy relationship. They have their kids,
Right.
they're doing their thing. And it's just kind of like one of those things where, you know, you have to look to that despite like instead of, you know, what they're showing us.
Right. And Barry,
I
I know
to-
I know
I
you
do
have to
gotta
get
go.
okay, sorry. I know you have to get going, but I do have one last question for you for our
Okay,
viewers. I think this will be, you know, our queens out there. What is it that helps to keep your relationship strong?
that's great. Can I just say this, TK? I totally 100% agree with you, and I appreciate that theory. And before I answer that question, I think that, like you said, narratives and things are always put out, and we start to make big conversations of it, but we're not really speaking about what can Black women do to be married. What can we do? What can we do to change that number? Like we just like, yeah, why? Like what am I doing? You know what I'm saying? Like people talk about the problem so much, but nobody's trying to build
Solution.
solutions and
Mm-hmm.
systems to
Mm-hmm.
change that. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, Monique, let's do this. Let's okay, let's do a dating thing. Let's just see what you looking for. If you single, what you looking for, and I'm gonna go get my guys that I think is single in quality, and let's try to build a system where, like, man, we got this new Black love thing. We connected. Now Monique married for 20 years, have like, I got my boo. Da, 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 da. You know what I'm saying? And this is how I did it, and this is how I believe, and that, and then women gravitating to this positive way of looking, and we're not just having conversations about with Black men, like, yeah, and it's this argument and this back and forth and banter, and it's no, and at the end of it, nobody's further along, nobody's later on learned some information that they applied, and now they're able to get all that they wanted. They got their Black king, and their Black king got his Black queen, and now look at that. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
it's just like they want to keep us going in circles. I'm all about let's get results. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
okay, like, okay, well, let's talk. Let's really have a real conversation. Is there something I can do better? Because I only understood this growing up. Regardless to what happens to me, how I respond to it is everything. So you might meet a man and have a bad relationship and experience, and he wasn't mature. That doesn't put everybody in that box. Okay. In that experience that I learned something, I've been more mature because of other people being immature to me. I've learned how to grow in those spaces because I start looking at me and what I can learn better. Okay, I learned how to deal with this, that, and third. Anyway, that's that. Question. Your question was again, please.
My question was, how do you keep your Black love strong? Like, how
Right.
do y'all keep y'all's love together? Because you're married to a Black
I
woman.
think there's three foundational things that I apply to my relationship, and I always say this, and she would tell you, "Oh my God, he drives it in my head." Communication, trust, and respect.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that supports
Mhm.
all three of those things are maturity. Because sometimes you don't feel like communicating. Maturity is being able to do what's best for the results the goal that you want, despite how you may feel about it.
That part.
Trust. Sometimes we don't feel like trusting because that last dude or this guy we're with did something to. But when I say I trust you again, trust is only activated when there's no tangible evidence there to prove what that person is saying. People think trust is I know where you at. That ain't trust. I don't gotta trust that. The evidence is in front of my face. I need to trust what I can't prove myself. When you tell me, hey Barry, I got a horse behind this thing. If I trust you, I'm like, okay, like I believe it.
Yep.
Whether you're lying or not doesn't matter about me trusting you.
I got trust
Trusting
issues because I'll be like, there ain't no horse back there. There ain't no horse back there. Whatever.
I got a horse like this. I'm lying. Like
Don't lie.
and, and respect. Communication, trust, respect are the foundational pieces of how I believe it is. And remember, maturity. And what is maturity? Maturity is being able to do the thing that's going to help this thing be what you want it to be, despite how you may feel. You know, like I could have cussed that girl out, but the mature thing was like, girl, if you cuss the girl out, this can happen. No, you're just trying to get through this interview. So that whatever the results you're trying to gain, so you make the decision based on the goal, not based on the emotional place. So if I want this relationship to be successful, and I told my wife, I'm like, I have to trust you despite how I may feel. One time she was in DC, this is early on in our relationship, and I had cheated. This is dating, and she had cheated. And this is very early on. This sounds like a terrible
This is
relationship.
where y'all got married?
But y'all made it work though.
Yeah, this is way before. This is like early dating.
Y'all made it work though.
We've been together 10 years. So
oh wow. Okay.
Married for 5, together for 5. So this is early on. And I always thought she was trustworthy, and we kind of had a spat where we kind of broke up. So she said we were broken up. So that's why she did what she did. So
air quotes.
Right. Anyway, the point I'm making is she was in DC on a thing, and her phone, she couldn't answer her phone for whatever reason. Right. And I'm blowing her up, bro. And I'm like, what the fuck? Right. And I was bothered. I was so frustrated, and that thing was fresh, and that what happened prior. And I was just so insecure about what's going on. Finally get in touch with her. She's like, I don't know how my phone got on airplane mode. I was asleep. Like I was on some Spectre gadget. I got the hotel to call the room, da. Anyway, from that experience, I had to just accept what she said. And I always use that. Because this is the issue with trust. We don't want to be at the short end of the stick. We don't want to get, but that's what trust is, taking that chance every time. And if I wanted my relationship to be successful, to have gotten here, regardless to if she was telling the truth or not, I chose to trust her because I understand that this is what a principle that I need to apply for this relationship to actually be successful. And both parties had, and it was moments that she had to apply it to, right? Without being honest or not, she had to apply it to. Now, it's a responsibility on the other person to be honest.
Yeah.
That's
to be
real.
truthful. So let's be clear. I'm not saying you go around you being lying and let the person trust you, but on my end, I have to trust. And on your end, as the girl, you have to be honest, and vice versa. I got to be honest. You got to trust me. And that needs to be a thing, right? And so I think that that's the things that I've applied in my relationship that's gotten us thus far. And when you say happy, I just really think we need to understand that, because people think happy, oh, y'all happy. You see people 20 years, whatever, and they say happy. You got to understand that comes with a price. Wherever you've been to get to your happy place in life, you've had some moments of crying and distraught. And I think that's what a relationship looks like. And nobody told me that. They didn't tell me a happy marriage and a happy life comes with this journey. Because people only think about the result, the end. You gotta tell somebody, hey, you're gonna be crying, spitting, and sad, and hurt, and frustrated, and mad, and ready to quit, and almost ready to commit suicide. You gotta let people know that.
It's a fact, and I think some people get scared to put in the work, and they don't understand. But hear you speak about it, I think it's really dope, because there's not a lot of people who think like that. I think once they get through something tough, they're like, no, I'm good. We're gonna break up. We're gonna divorce. I don't want to work through this. So I think it does take two strong people to really sit down with each other and communicate and be like, yo, we've been through hell and back, but we're going to make this work. We're going to put in the work, you know?
And those are the ingredients to a happy, successful relationship, no matter what color, who you are. That is it. I mean, like for real, like that is literally it. So when you ask me that, what she just said, that's exactly what it is. There is no special thing. It's two people willing to put the work in to get to the destination. That is it. That is all. And I think that that's in any successful team, whether it be relationship, corporation, whatever venture, life venture. When you have that team that's willing to put the work in, you will get to the championship. I'm a basketball player, so I always reference basketball. But I tell my wife all the time, if we're going to get to the championship, we got to keep working.
Right. And I feel like that's a good note to end on. And Barry, let them know where they can find you.
Hey, my name is Barry Brewer. You can find me on all social media, Barry Brewer, Junior Barry with an A, Barry, Brewer, Brewer, Junior JR. Man, check out my stand up special out on Prime Video, Chicago I'm Home. Check out Bruh on BT Plus, Tyler Perry's Bruh. Check out Games People Play right now. It's airing back on BT every Wednesday, the first season with Lauren London and amazing cast. Also check out my album, Conquer Goliath. It's an encouraging album. It's everywhere. I'm giving all my shout outs. I got a clothing line out.
You sure can't let them know.
I got a clothing line out. Only believe. That's my motto. That's what I'm about. So as we talk about relationships, it's about believing, and believing is really about putting the work in. Because when you believe something for yourself, you put the work in. Your action shows your belief in what you're trying and what you want for yourself. So thank you all so much, Monique. Thank you for having me, Nakia. TK, it was such a pleasure to meet you all, and I hope to see y'all soon and hopefully see each other in person one day.
Yes.
Thank you for coming on, and we really appreciate it. I'm just going to give the spiel, so if you have to get off, that's fine. Ladies, just let them know where they can find you.
Yes, Barry, thank you so much for coming and kicking with us. It was a delight. I love hearing you speak. You guys can find me on all social media at Kiki Boom Boom.
And you can find me on everything at TK Trinidad. You want to get your cocoa butters, all that natural stuff, entrepreneur, trying to make that money. You can go to centerin.co and get all that good stuff.
Okay, TK, cocoa butter, like you get your skin right.
It's really good. It's really
good.
You'll
be getting some. So stay on your emails. But you can find me everywhere, or you can find me on IG because that's where I'm mostly at It's Monique Loveless. And make sure that you check out our last episode, which was last Wednesday. And thank you for coming, Barry. We really appreciate you and our Black Love tips. Thank you, Queens, for listening. Catch us every Wednesday on Apple, Spotify, Anchor, and Google. And we have more places you can catch us too. Just go on Anchor and you can find us. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms at Queens Uncut. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Black Queens Uncut. And we love our Queendom family, so make sure you rate us, write a review, and donate if you want to. Thank you, Queens. Thank you, Barry. And bye, Queens.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.